Hey guys, we're going live on YouTube. We're just gonna do a quick little chat through, talk about some of the stuff going on with this election. All the early voting and absentee stuff's already come in, and we're waiting for the ballots, the day of ballots to come in. I don't know what to expect. I don't know the rules on this. I don't know who knows what, when, where, why, how. So I've talked to Matt and Daniel from the two parties that aren't involved. I'm going to try to get them to check in at some point here. So anyway, we're going to run it down. We're going to talk about it, talk about what I think this means moving forward, depending on what happens. Almost an agreement at gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube. We're supposed to have an Instagram. I'm not sure about it, but we definitely have a Twitter. All your major podcast providers carry us, so look us up there. Give us a great review and share it to your friends. Let them know what's going on. So we're going to talk about some stuff and do some things, so hang out and be cool. Hey guys, like I said, just going to talk a little bit about what's going on. We're watching these results come in. All the early voting and stuff's in right now, so we get to see what we get to see. So it's scrolling through here behind me. This is straight off the Election Commission website. I'm also using WBIR, their mobile app, because somehow WBIR gets it out faster than anything else. So no surprises so far, I guess. As Matt Shears has told us many times, the Democrats or the left-leaning folks out there tend to be more on board with early and absentee voting, and that rings true today as well. Right now, with none of today's numbers coming in yet, Tommy Smith 57-43 over Elizabeth Murphy, Roberto 56-44 over Smith, Singh 55-45 over Ciparo. Man, I'm sorry. I know you told me like 5 times. District 4, Ryder 56 to Clanaris 44, and McKenzie 57 to Holt 43. So, I don't know. One of the things I wanted to talk about was how stupid this election is. Just the way we work it. I don't get... Like, my problem is I was sitting there and watching these numbers come in, and I've been talking to all the different people, it's an all or nothing. Like, just with the way this election's gone, it's going to be either the 5 incumbents or the 5 new players. I don't see how it's going to work out any other way than that. I would be very surprised if we had 4-1 or 3, especially if we had 3-2. Not that there's not to be pro or anti any of the candidates specifically, just the idea of the way this election works. If, say, Garrett Holt gets a huge number of people to come out today and vote for him, which on that I did see at the couple of polling places I drove by today, I did see a lot more of the red team than the blue team as far as hanging out at the polling places, getting that last minute lean in, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if the election worker at the place or the person at the election place, at the polling place, helps. But anyway, like I said, we're waiting to see some of these results coming in, and I'm going to see if I can't get maybe Matt Shears on the phone for a second. Just to, check in, see how they're doing. He's at a watch party doing whatever watch party people do, So we'll see if I can't get him to hop in here. We could chat for a little bit about how he's feeling about what's things. And like I said, he's got more history in this than I do. I don't have any history. I don't know what this is compared to last year. I do know that numbers-wise in early voting, it blew 2017 out of the water. I mean, 2017 early voting totals were 4,324. 2021 was almost 8,945. So more than doubled. And that being said, compared to 2019, which had the mayor's race, that was the Kincannon-Manis race, that was only 10,800. So, I mean, historically speaking, without a major item on the ticket, which this election doesn't, the 2017 didn't. So turnout's up. One of the things I'm curious about is population change in that same time period. How many more people moved into Knoxville than moved out? That kind of thing. It doesn't justify the difference in those numbers for sure, but it's just it's a factor. So it's something to think about. So anyway, that's what's going on so far. We're waiting for the actual polling precincts today to start popping in. So again, like I said, I just don't I don't know. I'm not a Knoxville resident, so you people that live in Knoxville can tell me I'm wrong, and I have to say okay to that. I don't see how this method of election is a value. And I don't see either team, air quotes, changing it, because why would you? Because obviously you won with it, whether it's the 5 incumbents keep their seats or the 5 new kids come in and replace them. And I don't have a particular one way or the other, but I would like to see a little bit of contention, because right now the only person that ever pushes back on anything as far as watching some of these city council meetings is Amelia. She's the only voice of dissent on a number of items. So I think it's important that whether we like the person or not, it would be handy, I think, and it would open some avenues for discussion if we maybe had some different voices on in the same quote team. But we'll see. Trying to get a hold of Sam and see who he voted for today. Nope, he's at work, so I got a feeling he didn't vote. Pretty sure Mr. AC didn't vote today either, so surprise. But I don't know, while we're killing time, I mean, again, I don't know obviously 11,000 in early and absentee is a bigger number than average, or than are comparable in 17. My estimation personally, and this has been what I've been talking about for a while, is that if we have higher numbers, I think lends to the opposition, regardless of who it is. I think higher numbers means you have an activated group of people that are out to change something. And I think that goes to a number of different items. I saw a poll earlier today that I can't remember who put it out, but it was essentially that Americans as a whole are not happy with the direction things are going. And I think Knoxville was 81% not happy with the direction things are going right now. And given that it's an election, when you're not happy with it, you go out to vote for change. Whether that change is the right change or not, that's something we'll get to wait and see. But as I complain about quite often, and I'm concerned about in the same aspect of it, is like, when a poll goes out and says, are you happy with the direction of the country, the direction of your city, the direction of your state, the direction of your county, whatever it is? Do the people that are answering those polls know who and what is affecting those things? Same thing I say all the time. The school board stuff, that's one of the ones I get on a lot. I know for a fact from talking to other parents, from talking to school board members, from talking to Ron at the central office, most people do not understand who and where the authority lies in school issues. And so if you're not happy with the way things are going, you're going to go vote to change it. Do you know that you're actually voting for a position that has means to change with what you're unhappy with? And that's my concern in politics and governance in general, as I've gotten smarter in it over the year or so that we've been doing this podcast. Is I still don't know much, if anything, and that's fine. I think it's important to come at this as novice as possible, because I think a lot of people are novices and think they know a lot. A lot of people know a lot and talk down to people that don't know anything, and then a lot of people know a lot and try to share it. But since they know so much, it's hard for them to break it down in a simpler term. Like if I were, like, I don't know, Ron McPherson is a good example. He tries really hard to break it down in simple terms, but he knows it inside out, upside down, and backwards. And so to put it in simple terms to him is still advanced terms for me. so I think it's important that we as a populace start really working on knowing who does what. Because again, okay, hypothetically speaking here, all right, let's say these election day votes come out, and the old adage runs true that the most popular, or the most of the left leaning people go early and absentee. Most of the right leaning people go election day. It's only a 10-point-ish swing for everybody. That's a significant number. Don't get me wrong. But how many people showed up at the polls today? Rumor I've heard is it's not a big one. So we'll see. But let's say a bunch of people show up and this right GOP team, whatever you want to call them, ends up sweeping this thing. What actually changes here in a month or two, or whenever they take their seats? I think it's in December 17th, mid-December. They actually take the seat. I think that's something I'll have to ask if I can get a hold of somebody. But what happens when they take their seats? How much are things actually going to change around here? Really? Because again, this is Knoxville. They are, quote, mayor heavy. And so, Kincannon is obviously a little bit more left leaning, but she runs the show. She's the boss here. As far as I understand it, on most items, even a city council that's fully against her, or at least majority against her, can't stop her or can't force her to do something she doesn't want. So what do you think is going to happen tomorrow, next week? Not, again, tomorrow being after they take their seats. You know what I mean? And so that's something I for my sake, just for curiosity's sake, I hope the GOP team takes it, just so we could see city government and oppose city government in action. So, all right, well, Matt's telling me that it's over. I don't know what he's seen. I'm still looking at the election commission. So he's pretty confident that all 5 incumbents held on. Don't understand how. But I'm trying to get a hold of him. I'm begging. Please call me. Call me, Matt. Tell me what's going on. How do you make that? How do you make that call right now? He's saying it's over. I haven't seen anything change since we started going live. So, but again, like I said, for me, just for curiosity's sake, just to watch the shit show happen, I would love to see an upset here, for lack of a better word. I'd like to see all the GOP candidates. Not that I like any of them and their policy stances or their arguments or what they think's wrong versus what they don't think's wrong and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But what I do know is that what I have seen of city council, other than Amelia Parker, has been pretty much okay mayor, okay mayor, okay mayor. And is it possible that both the mayor and the city council currently are all on the same page and everything's going to go all beautifully and everybody's happy with the results, including the constituency? Or is it just that's how the system works, so you just look bad for fighting it? Because I know Amelia's dealing with that a lot. And even on things that I think are important that she can't get enough traction to get anybody else on board with. So it's going to be, again, I did the predictions a couple nights ago, trying to really think about it. I don't think there's an opportunity here for it to go halfway. It's going to be all or nothing. And I don't know. I think that's a bummer. I think it's a bummer for me and content's sake, but I think that's a bummer for the city because we're going to be stuck with a narrower viewpoint on how to move forward on some of the different real issues we have. Homelessness is a real issue. Our murder rate is a real issue. Another kid got killed 2 nights ago. And there's a shooting somewhere else very recently. I mean, it seems like almost every day now, which I don't remember in as long as I've lived in Knoxville that being the case. When I lived in Milwaukee, that was like nightly news every night, 1 to 5 murders every night. Then I could switch over to the Chicago news and get it just as bad, if not worse. But that was back in the 90s, so different place, different time. But it's a serious issue that's going on around here. We have a lot of serious stuff going on in the state level. Like, how does this all shake down with the special session stuff that came out? I think the fucking school board being partisan now is dumb. I think this Tennessee medical choice. I watched a little bit of the Zachary video and he was explaining it, and there's some stuff that I can get behind, and there's some stuff that I don't, which I guess is how it's supposed to be. But I don't know how that lines up and how the city gets to push back against those items and how we get to balance these two things and these two bodies at work. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I think it's unfortunate that I think it's unfortunate that regardless of how much more partisan this race was, the partisanship was already there. I mean, if you're looking at these incumbents against their last time opponents, they all had, they were all the furthest left of who they were running against, except for a couple. Tommy didn't run against anybody last time. I don't know who Roberto ran against. Seema, who was running as a city council candidate last time, who has parted ways with them, but she was running as a city council candidate, so she would be farther left than almost anybody. Don't remember who Lauren ran against, and Gwen ran against Harper, maybe back then. I don't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter. As I recall the history, they were all the further left of the pairing that they were up against in their races. So, I think it's unfortunate that we don't have more voices at the table, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. I'm going to try one more insider. So try to get the old Randy Pacinator on here too. So Matt said he'd call me in a minute. Trying to get Daniel and or Randy to come on. I've talked to both of them earlier today, trying to get them some space and talk about it. Because, all right, here we go. Nope, still no precincts reporting. How does that? I don't understand how that works. I emailed Chris Davis about that too. I asked him. I was like, how do I get the inside scoop on coverage here, because it seems like WBAR and stuff is putting out information before the election commission is. So I do have Manitoff, Caldwell, and Welch coming in next week. I'm excited about that one. Get caught up on the stadium conversation. But I mean, WBIR is still saying no precincts reporting. So I don't get it. So I'll have to ask Matt when he calls me here in a second what these things mean.
Matt Shears.
There he is. Hey, buddy.
Hey, howdy.
What's happening? We're live on YouTube right now, just so you know. I don't want you to be
okay, great.
Don't want you to get caught off guard on me or anything. So
I have seen enough, and the incumbents have won.
All right, so help me out with that, because I'm confused. What reporting are you looking at?
Well, on elections, like the night of the election, when the polls close at 8:00, you can send people to the polls to look at the printed out results, because at every polling place they print out the results, so you get the day of. And so we send people out to all the precincts to get them. And then bring them back, and then we plug them in. But also,
man, for not being involved in a nonpartisan race, you seem quite involved.
Tracking numbers. Well, and actually, the election commission just updated, and
I just pulled it up. I just ran the cumulative report here just now, and it is now it's still showing 0 of 44, but it's showing some election day of results as well. Tommy is blowing Elizabeth away.
No, it's got all the results now.
I know. That's the first one I looked at because it's the first on the list.
Yeah. Let me see here. Optimize results.
I mean, yeah, what I'm
Basi-
seeing of what
but,
has
I
been
mean, it all
reported.
tracks. It tracks almost the same. Um, and Gwen won the highest percentage. So,
That's
but
not
the most
particularly
votes,
surprising. My guess,
the most votes went to Gwen.
most total votes.
Most total votes. Yep.
Yeah.
So, have you had Daniel on yet?
No, not yet. I'm texting him. I'm texting Randy. I'm gonna see because these are like so okay. So that answers the question because I was wandering off in my head about how WBIR gets results faster than the Election Commission webpage, and so I'm sure they have the same thing. They have reporters out sitting with the same people you sent out,
Maybe. Yeah, I don't
looking
know.
at that printed one, or they have some multitasking people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my guess was Nick and Jim were going to make the closest race of it, but I figured it was going to be a sweep. I mean, that's the problem I have with this. The more I think about it, the more I cannot get my head around this format. Because, if this format, the way this format works, it's not going to be a 2-3. I mean, there's no team, so I guess there shouldn't be a 2-3 anyway.
No,
but
usually people split their tickets, but this was basically a slate versus a slate. It has never been like this before. I mean, last time you had people that maybe voted for a city council movement person, but then voted for Lynn Fugit, who's a Republican, or voted for Amy Midas, but then also voted for David Hayes. So like it used to be that you didn't, but people mixed and matched who they voted for because people didn't run really as a ticket. And so this was the first time that ever happened. And so it makes sense that the results match. But if you look at the 2019 results, they didn't really match. I mean, there were India voters who voted for Lynn Fugit. There were Charles Lomax voters who voted for Eddie Manis for mayor. I mean, it was a mixed bag, really.
Gotcha. Again, I just think I don't know, boggles my mind. I don't like this format, and I guess I can't really complain because I'm not a city voter, but I just think the format's really, really dumb. So, I don't know.
Right.
I just do. I mean, because
Okay, whatever.
I mean, you won, so you're happy. So I of course you don't dislike the format as the winner, and I'm not on the losing team in this conversation either. But at the end of the day, like my problem with it has always been, for the hypothetical sake of it, with the way this one specifically, and like you said, the history. This is different than history, so.
This one's totally different than any other one before.
But let's say Kim Smith just blew away District 2 and went crazy, and District 2 turned out 100%.
Oh, you're talking about like how you run in citywide?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't really like that either.
I don't mind I don't mind the nonpartisan thing. I again, in my recollection of it, because I didn't pay attention because I'm not a city resident, and I didn't pay attention even if I were a city resident last time around. This is like any other race, except you vote for everybody instead of just one. I don't care for I don't know. I just don't like. I don't know. Like I was ranting and raving to myself before you called about how, I think it's unfortunate how, especially now, kind of narrow viewpoint that the city council is going to be. Other than Amelia, who's the real pushback in city council now. Not that it matters because it's a city race and mayor says what she says and everybody kind of says yes, ma'am. But that's my concern with it. But again, I'm not a city resident, so I don't really get a say so here.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was texting somebody.
Oh, that hurts my feelings. It's cool.
Well, you were complaining about something. I don't know. I said that
we're live and like 37 people are watching, so you just got rude on air. It's cool, buddy.
On EC website.
Again, I don't know. I just think it's I just think the format is unfortunate, especially how partisan it has become. How's that for a good way to say it?
I agree.
But I still think even if it wasn't partisan, even if it was truly nonpartisan, which I think is a misnomer, no matter what you say. But
no, I'm telling you, it was not always like this. It was not always.
I'm not disagreeing with you that it always was like this, but you still had candidates that lean right, lean left, whether they put the R or D next to their name, because
I mean that's everybody.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But I think that's the again. I 100% agree, or at least I trust you to say that this is different than it has been in the past. But I just think that the idea that, again, the idea that if I were in the city, because I'm out of District 2 by 10 feet, that I should have any choice between Holt or McKenzie and who represents that district is ridiculous.
I don't think that makes sense either. You should talk to Tommy. He's someone who wants to change it actually. So
Good. I'm gonna make that a thing, even though I'm not a city resident, so I should shut my mouth. But I'm gonna complain anyway, like I do.
wow, they all lost big.
I haven't gotten I just refreshed it, but it's still 853 is my most recent run.
Oh really? No, this has election day too. Election day totals.
Yeah, this one still has. It has
There was low turnout today, much lower than expected.
Okay, so how do you know that? I mean, I know we're seeing that now.
Because the election total, like see election, the blue, that's the election day. How many people voted today? So
I'm looking at a different formula, but yeah, I see it. Like for what I'm seeing at the 853 run is District 1 had a total of 1,508. Well, citywide had somewhere around a little over 1,500.
Certainly more than 1,500 people voted today. That must be off.
So that's the last run I've seen from Election Commission. That's the most updated one that is on the website right now. Yeah, scrolling page says the same. Scrolling page still says zero reporting. So.
Oh really? The scrolling page does? On the optimized, it doesn't.
Which one's the optimized?
Wait, hold on. Mine has election day.
Mine has 1,500 election day, but not the whole thing. Mine doesn't have.
It says 100% at the bottom. That's wrong.
Oh, it's 100% of what's been counted so far.
But that doesn't make sense. Why don't they just say the 100% at the bottom should be based on how many total votes there were on election day.
Right, but what it's so here's one on the I pull up the cumulative results report of 13,318 registered voters. Right now, at least on the report I'm seeing, we're under 13.
Yeah.
We're at 12,600.
Day is not updated yet.
That's so weird. Wait, I'm so confused. There's more than 13,000 registered voters in the city of Knoxville. There's like 107, I think, is what Chris told me.
No,
something like that.
That's not what it's talking about. That's talking about the total of that has come in so far, like precincts reporting.
Okay, which is still 0.44 for me.
But the 100% underneath the election day is wrong because that's not 100% of precincts reporting.
No, it's 100% of what they have reported so far. Because if you take 965 plus 543, that's 1,508. So 543 of 1,508 is 36% for Murphy. 965 of 1,508 is 63.99% for Tommy Smith. And then you add those two percentages together, it's 100% so far. I understand that part of the math here. I just don't understand how it's showing zero precincts reporting, 0% registered voters reported, and 12,000. Again, I don't know. Okay, so that's my follow-up question then. What's a good turnout? I mean, this is a good turnout for a city race already.
Yeah, very good turnout for a non-mayoral race.
Right. So, that goes against my theory on that part too, because I theorized that the better turnout would be better for the incumbents. Because I was listening to my Crystal and Sagar show today, maybe yesterday, and I saw one because it broke it down. It was some big giant poll somebody had done that said upwards of I think it was in Knoxville. It broke it down, and in Knoxville, 81% of Knoxvillians polled for this thing were not happy with the direction things were going. And I don't know exactly how that was worded to the people. And, because, again, one of my chief issues is always, are we crediting the correct people with the consequences of what we're seeing? And so I'm curious. That leaned to me to, I don't know shit, obviously. That's the more I talk, the more I realize
What's the question? I don't understand the question.
The question being is that there was a major poll that was nationwide poll, and they had it broken down by some smaller municipalities, but on a whole, I think nationwide it was 70-some percent, 70% of the nation was not pleased with the direction we were going. And again, I'm not sure exactly what the poll question was.
Well, what's that have to do with this?
To get the result? Well, my assumption has always been if you're not happy with the way things are, you go vote for the different person that's already there. Well, and so maybe. That was me.
I Have you looked at what Virginia looks like? I haven't even turned that on.
No, I did see when I was setting up the YouTube stream, there was a video of some live coverage from Virginia. Because I know that's one of those that's like, that's a key indicator for what happens next year in the midterms.
Well, I mean, it depends.
Right now, Youngkin is leading by about 10 points.
Oh my gosh, what percent reporting?
69%.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm celebrating tonight, so
I'll text you that every couple minutes just to remind you how bad Virginia's going for Team Blue.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the kid. I haven't actually got to talk to you with voice since that happened. I'm getting an almost an agreement onesie made for you. Well, not for you, for the kid. It'd be weird if I made one for you, but congratulations. I suppose I don't know. I don't have anything better but to trust your insight on this because I don't know any better. So, anyway, congratulations on both the kid and your electoral victory for your nonpartisan participation.
You do know more about kids than me.
I do know more about kids than you, and they're like it's best way I can describe it is you will find a new extreme of your personal emotions. You can be more angry than you've ever been about anything in your entire life as it involves your kid, even at your kid. But you can also have more joy and love than you've ever felt in your life because that thing exists. Like your range of emotions expands, and it is a weird thing to start rationalizing when cause nobody told me that until a couple years ago, and I was like, that is exactly right. Like I've never been more pissed off, sober at least, than I have been at my kids from time to time for this, that, and the other, just stupid stuff drawn on the walls or whatever. But then I've also never had a sense of pride or joy or love like I've had involving them on just different stuff. And the little ones too, that they're like, you're not even, it's not even a situation that makes sense. And all of a sudden you look over and you're like, that's my thing. And you go, oh, and you melt inside. It's beautiful. Kids are awesome and terrible all at the same time. That's pretty poetic. That's my life advice for you, buddy. It's the best, worst thing that's ever happened to you.
All right. Well, I've got to go now, but I will say that I think tonight was a win for decency. And also it showed that, like outside money and making races super partisan and all these nasty mailers and all this energy and all the hoopla, at the end of the day, I think Knoxville voters can see through that. And I think that they made the right decision tonight. So anyway, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, it was good to chat with you. We'll touch base soon.
All right. See you. Bye.
See you, buddy. All right, Matt. Cheers, everybody. So I don't know. I don't have any reason to not trust him. So, so that's that. I'm going to give one more shot at Herrera and see if I can get him for a few minutes. And if not, I'm going to call it a thing because, again, I'm not going to stay up all night watching this. It's not that important to me. I'm not a city resident, but I'm interested. I'm curious. I like watching things go. So, again, the last one I have is the 9 o'clock run, and it's not telling me anything new and exciting. So, there we go. Now I got some 18 precincts have reported, still the same total numbers. Tommy Smith 57 to 42 over Elizabeth Murphy. Roberto 56 to 43 over Kim Smith. These are percentages. Seema 56 to 43 over Nick. Lauren 56 to 43%. And Gwen McKenzie at 58% to Garrett Holt at 41. So, it's election. Again, I trust Matt on it. I have no reason not to. He knows his stuff. So, well, I don't know. I'm going to go put my kids to bed. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if anything crazy drastic happens. But thanks for watching the show tonight, everybody. we'll be in with a regular show. Like I said, I got some stadium stuff coming up. Be safe out there. Love each other. Whatever. I don't know. Let's get back to non-campaign season for a little while. No, we don't. We already have county stuff started. Good night, everybody. So that was a mini city election breakdown. Doohickey. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Congratulations to the winners tonight. Good luck for future endeavors from the losers. I think I don't know. Again, I don't know what this does. What does this change? What's different tomorrow from today? You know? What's different once these people take their seats? Well, nothing, because they're all the same people. But had it been other people, what would be different then? So, I don't know. Anyway, we're almost in agreement at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, city election cheat sheet's no longer valid, so I'm going to take that down, and I'll start working on a county one, which is going to be crazy. Hit us up. Get us comments on stuff. I'm going to have some more people soon. So thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great night.